Beth Walker, and I, in conjunction with Stuart Siegel, are delighted to have you join us tonight. We want to walk you through what you can expect from this point forward through May 1st, when the decisions will be made about which school your student will attend. So I'm going to facilitate this conversation. Stuart is going to be our expert tour guide. And what we're going to do is basically walk you through this timeline. And this is a timeline that we will share with you after tonight's webinar. What we've tried to do is simplify a very complicated process and give you an opportunity to understand who does what and when that happens. This infographic that we created in all of the red ink and red boxes will be the responsibilities of the family, and everything that you see in gold will be the responsibility of our team. And so what we're going to do is dissect this timeline tonight and kind of give you a little bit more of an explanation of what you can expect. Here we are in October. Your students are starting the college admissions application process, and we're busy behind the scenes taking care of a few things. So Stuart, I'm going to pop up the to-do list, if you will, for October, and why don't you talk to the folks about what's going on in the College Family Care Center.
Sure, Beth. Hi, everybody. Good evening. You're going to be hearing from me throughout the season. I generally make these phone calls to your home to direct you to important emails. So it's always going to be, I'm your financial aid guru and cruise director. Try to keep it, light. Anyway, you can expect to get those calls and then an email, and I'll usually mention the subject line so that you know what it's about. You can look for it. Please pay attention to those. They're very important. Not everybody has the same process. Everybody's different. Some people have certain, their kids are going to be applying to certain colleges that require one set of forms. Another set of colleges require another set of forms. So please bear with us, and we do need your cooperation. And I'll go through, what we really need to agree on in terms of who's going to do what. And Beth just showed you that on the graphic. Very good job, by the way. It really simplifies things. First thing in October, and this is what we're doing behind the scenes, we get ready for all the new forms that are coming up, the new CSS profile form, which some of you will be asked to complete or will complete on your behalf. Those schools tend to be a little more competitive, have more money of their own to give, so they ask for a little bit more information than the standard FAFSA form you may have already heard about. So we're trying to get all that organized, and I sent an email out a week ago and a phone call to get you to come onto the College Family Care Center website to log in and start filling out some of your information. And the next big thing will be, well, which schools is your son or daughter applying early action? And once we know that, then you'll actually be able to see it if you tell us, or you go to the website and put it in the college information page, and you'll see that momentarily. You'll be able to see what your deadlines are and what forms are required for every school. So it sort of gives you an idea of what's going to be coming up. And through the process, you'll see which forms have been filed for you. We date everything automatically as things are done. So everything's done very quickly and very thoroughly, so you can pretty much trust the information you're going to see there. You're also going to get confirmations from the Department of Education. You're also going to get confirmations from the College Board about various things. So you're going to be getting a lot of stuff, and the thing to keep in mind, I just want to say it sort of at the outset, is there's nothing to get excited about, nothing to get up about, as John Lennon said. This is just normal stuff you're going to be going through, and if you just respond, if you don't understand something, just let us know. That's why we're here. If we don't know what's going on, we can't help you.
Hey, Stuart.
You're going to get,
Quick,
yes.
quick question. Could you articulate exactly what early action is? Because I think that there's a lot of confusion about early decision, early application, and early action. So could you just clarify that for our parents?
Yes, I was just about to do that. Thanks. The early action is just it's like a regular application, except you get to learn sooner what the admission decision is, or good or bad. So if you apply early decision, that's a binding decision between you and the college. You're going to sign a document that says, yes, if we get in, we're committed to going there. The only out you have is if you can't afford it. But you should know that going in, approximately how much it's going to cost. The early action is similar, except it's not binding. So you can get an earlier read on did you get in, and maybe you'll get an early version financial aid award, which is the purpose of doing some of these forms early. So if a school has an early action program, and there's more than one, some schools have an early action 2 program with the dates a little bit later, say January 15th, you'll know that as well. So that application, generally for the kids who are getting their common applications ready now, that's most of the schools are using that. Now, in addition to early action, there's also a rolling admissions application, and that's similar, but the deadlines vary. So you might have the open admission or the acceptance of the application starts, say, November 1st, but they'll continue to take applications until they've admitted everybody they can. So generally it's going to be about 6 weeks from the time if you submit the application November 1st, you're going to know by December 15th or December 15th, just like you would an early action school. So the only difference is most of the early action schools use CSS Profile where the rolling don't. The majority of them don't. So that I think that covers that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
There is something else. If you are if your child's applying to a school, whether it's early action, early decision, or regular decision, that uses the CSS Profile form, and you're divorced or separated, the non-custodial parent 9 times out of 10 will be required to complete a non-custodial parent statement, and they can do that online or fill out a paper one. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but colleges that use this form expect that both parents will contribute to the child's education. There's some things you might need to know about it as a need-to-know basis, so we will be communicating with you about that. Just let us know. We'll actually see what your situation is when we look in there. And if you feel that the non-custodial parent is not going to be helpful, you let us know. We'll help you with that. Okay, FAFSA PINs. These are the personal identification numbers that we will order from you from the Department of Education using your name as it appears on your Social Security card. And any remarried folks who have changed their name, it needs to be the same as on the Social Security card. So if you've changed it but you haven't changed it with Social Security, don't give us that name. Give us the name that's with Social Security, or you will not be confirmed. And this number is important to file the FAFSA and apply for any loans, and also to check your application. So we need to get those PINs for you. If there's any issues, we help you resolve them. There are oftentimes issues obtaining them, and that's why we want to be notified first to know if there's anything that needs to be done about it. So those are very important, and the sooner we get those and clear up those issues now, then when we get to January 1st and start filing the FAFSAs, it's clear sailing.
All right,
we can move on.
Let's talk about November.
Okay, November. I think I discussed a little bit about applying early and rolling, rolling admissions. Now, a lot of schools that have these health-related pre-professional programs like RN or physical therapy or physician's assistant. A lot of these schools with rolling admissions can start in October, and they're rolling. They just keep going, but they may close out by mid-December. So you want to check the school's website for those particular programs if your child's applying to those programs to make sure that you get in soon enough, because once they fill them up, that's it. You're going to be locked out. Now, uploading financial data. For early admission programs, we're going to need that use the CSS profile. We're going to need your 2013 taxes. We're going to need your best estimates of what you're going to earn for the year. And this is all going to go on the College Family website, which is your account. It's secure. And just about everything, call it a repository. You're going to have, this is going to be yours for the next 4 or 5 years. And if you have other kids, they can all be connected. So the College Family Care Center website is going to be very important to you in terms of communicating data, schools, financial aid awards, the final school list, the final choices, all kinds of things. So we will be, discussing that with you throughout the process. So what we're going to need is for you to get started as soon as possible, fleshing out some of these pages. And we are still working on the site, and if there are certain schools that require extra questions, we'll be in touch with you right away about that. They may want to know about your cars, any consumer debt, religious preferences, scholarships like that. So getting your data, just use the most recent data you have, and don't worry, estimates are perfectly fine. The closer the better. But that's pretty much all you're going to need. And if you have any questions, there's lots of help on the website, or you can just call us here at the College Family Care Center. That's what we do. We help you. We want to make this easy. I don't want you worrying about things overnight, fretting, being upset. Just give us a call or an email. Know that we'll get in touch with you first thing in the morning. Okay, if you don't get us during business hours. And let's see, the student asset page, I think, is where we're going to go after this, right, Beth?
Yep, there you go. And this is just an example of one of the pages on your particular site. So every family has their own web portal. There's basic information that's entered, information about the family members. This happens to be about student assets, and this is one area that we don't always have a lot of visibility to in terms of kids working, getting money for birthdays or certain events, money sitting in their checking account. This is assets in the name of the student. So you can see cash, checking, savings, that all gets totaled here. If you have a UGMA or a UTMA, Uniform Trust and Minor account, this is where this would go. Even though the parents are the custodians, it is considered an asset of the student, and that's where this information would go. And if there is no individual stock positions or mutual funds in the name of that student, then obviously you're just filling that in with a 0. But this is an important page where we need to have updated information because it plays a big role in the formula. Another area that we talked about is college lists. Let me back up one page and show you. Where it says college information, it's a tab up here. This is what we would click on to get to this page. And it's at this page that you are able to enter, hey, this is a school that I want to apply to. And we recognize that, up to this point in time, this has been like nailing Jell-O to the wall. We start out with a school list that we've helped you create. It could be 20 to 25 schools. You're going to whittle that down to 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 schools that you actually apply to. And this is a really critical area because it allows Stuart and his team to understand who do they have to file financial aid forms for, and the deadlines are driven by the schools that are selected. So it's really important for you to help us understand exactly which schools your student will apply to. And inevitably, as they get involved in the process, you know, maybe they settled on 8 schools and then they decided, well, I want to throw another 1 or 2 in. That's fine. We just need to know that they are a school that you're applying to so that the right financial aid forms can be sent to those schools on your behalf.
And one thing I wanted to mention about that college information page, when you do select, it goes by state, list of schools. It's not shown on this page, but a little higher up, it says state, list of schools, and then all the types of admission programs. You want to be very careful which admissions program you select. You want to make sure it's the correct one because the dates are all based off of that particular program. Schools have many different dates.
Are you talking about this application status, whether it's regular decision, early, that kind of thing?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Now, in December, you're probably still wrapping up or are done with admissions applications, and this is a critical time, and I'm going to let Stuart talk about this, but we are absolutely counting on your help in verifying the financial data that's been uploaded to the site. Because really what the rule is when they file the FAFSA, that needs to reflect your financial reality on the day that we file. Knowing that we're going to file the CSS profile earlier and the FAFSA in January, you will need to update and review the data for accuracy. And you will importantly have to hit this button that says approve and submit. Because once you've hit that button, and we could do that together in a WebEx, you can do that on your own. That is what signals to Stuart and his team, we're good to go. We can file on behalf of this family.
Yeah, and actually when you click that approve and submit, what pops up is a little window that says, it clearly says you are only submitting to us for review, because you also have another set of eyes on this. Because it's not just filing a form, it's making sure that the form is correct, and it's a lot of information. You know, it's like the Common App. If you look at all the navigation buttons across the top, I know it looks like a lot. You take it piece by piece. You know, that's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And it's really not as much as it really looks. But we need to know that, to the best of your knowledge, it's accurate and it's complete. And then we'll review things, because there may be some things that aren't obvious to you, but which are obvious to us. So I just wanted to mention that.
Now, during the month of January, Stuart, tell them what's going on.
Okay, well, assuming we've got everything together and we're able to file any of those profiles, if we have the schools, we would like to get all of this done by December 15th. I mean, because then you can enjoy the holidays. Really don't want you to have to start messing around with this stuff when you got all kinds of other things going around, during those couple of weeks. So the sooner we get this taken care of, that means we can file your FAFSA the first week or so of January. We do this electronically, so that it's exactly what's from what everybody's approved is exactly what's going on the form. So we have to do a little programming the first couple of days. You may have heard that, oh, you got to file by January 1st. Absolutely not. You don't have to file by then. But we'll have everybody done. If you're approved, then you've approved it. You'll be filed no later than the 15th. FAFSA maybe the 7th or 8th. Just put you in the queue and we'll get you done. We can file them every couple of minutes. One of the things we want you to discuss with whoever does your taxes is let them know that you have a student applying for financial aid, and you need to have your tax return fast-tracked. Absolutely. One of the things you'll see on that college information page, we're adding some new dates regarding some schools will want your actual physical tax return by a specific date. So you want to make sure that you get those taxes taken care of as soon as possible. There's a whole bunch of different ways schools get your tax information. I'll go over some of them, but let your tax person know. It could be, if you run into them this week or talk to her tomorrow, just let them know what's going on, and then you're going to need your stuff filed early February. Okay. Whenever, let's say you have 11 or 12 schools to file, they're going to be filed on the FAFSA. Well, we can only file 10 at a time. So once the first 10 are filed, you will get a confirmation that minute from the Department of Education. An email will be sent to you, to the primary parent on the College Family Care Center website. Whoever that parent's email is, in the upper right on the basic information page, that's who's going to get the email. A couple of days later, you will get another email that says you have not only a confirmed FAFSA filing, but you also have a successfully processed FAFSA. So when you submit it, it's got to go through this part of the arm of the government, and they will generate a report that then we will access a few days later to make sure that what we thought was going to happen actually did happen. But you'll get an email telling you that there has been a change. If there, like I said, if there's more than 10 schools, we will be going through. You are not considered done until all of your colleges have been filed. So if there's another 3 or 4 to go, we'll submit them as soon as the SAR is generated, and you will get another FAFSA confirmation. And a few days later, you will get another successful completion. So these are normal, nothing to be concerned about. You're just going to get them, so you'll know that we did something on your behalf. And if you want to know what it is, you can call us, or faster still, and whenever it occurs to you, you can go to the College Family Care website, look on the college information page, and check to see what's been filed and which schools on what dates. And you'll see that the day you got that confirmation, you'll see that date for that particular school. Okay? The last thing is supplemental forms for the CSS profile. Well, there are a whole bunch of forms, and I don't know how many I want to get into, depending on your tax status. But some schools have their own forms that go through the CSS profile. Some are, your student may not have worked for the year. Not everybody has a after-school job, and there's a form called the Student Non-Tax Filer form, and if one of the parents didn't work, they get to fill one of those out. Well, we'll help you with all that. But there's all kinds of other forms that could be laid on your doorstep. If you own a business, some of the schools require a business farm supplement. I mentioned the non-custodial parent form. And then there's some things that will come down the road in February, so if we want to move on to that. If you want to take a look at your student aid report, what we do is we capture them and save them. We generally don't email them because they're stored anyway, but if you really want to see one, just send us an email. We'll just attach it and send it to you. Or you can just log into the FAFSA.edu.gov and get it yourself if you really want it. But I have to caution you, and this is the biggest caution. In fact, it's a rule. New rule. When we obtain a PIN for you, a personal identification number, that number is going to be posted on the college information page in the upper left-hand corner. The students, parent 1 and parent 2, if there's 2 parents. If one parent we can't get a PIN for, all we need is one to sign the FAFSA. So if that's all we could get, then that'll be there. Also on the other side is a College Board username and password used to file the CSS profile. Now, we get a lot of parents who want to go in and start mucking about, and I have no problem with you going in and looking. It's your information after all. But use the information that exists that's already been done, because if we go and try and help you and you've gone in and disabled your numbers because you just kept pounding away and couldn't get in, well, you will not be allowed to get in or even try again. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with. we don't like dealing with it. And there's no reason that anybody should change their PIN. That's where your PIN is. If you must use it, use your PIN. Don't change it. Don't forget it. It's always going to be in that one place. So I think I made my point, but
let me throw this out. If you forget your PIN, if you need your PIN, if you want your PIN, you don't remember how to get it, you just need to call us or email us. Either Stuart or I will get it for you. And we're making a big deal out of this because you can appreciate this is classic government type stuff. Once you mess up your Social Security number, it takes, years to undo that kind of stuff. So we take the establishing your PINs very seriously. We take retrieving your PINs very seriously, and we take archiving your PIN very seriously. If you need it, we've got it.
Good. Get it, got it, good. All right. In late February, this is what's going to happen usually. It depends on the school, but a lot of the schools will start sending award letters out in late February. Now, if the student is admitted to the college, then they may get a scholarship letter with it, with the admission. But the actual financial aid award will probably come later after all the forms have been looked over and processed, and then they'll determine how much money the actual award is. It used to be that you would go to your mailbox and these financial aid awards would be there. Well, everything's gone to computer, everything's gone on the web, and about 90% of the awards now are all going to be posted on the web portal of each college. So it's going to be up to you as the receipts come in from the colleges applied to. As your student applies, they're going to get a receipt saying that they've received, the application, and they're going to provide a net ID and a temporary password to that school's web portal. What all you have to do is, and you know what? I wouldn't let your student near it. Okay, I wouldn't. Just not a good idea. Not in my experience. Change the password, make it yours, write it down, keep it, because you're going to need it for a couple of things. The first thing is just checking on the admission status, what's going on there, because you don't want to be calling the high school, bothering them. You don't want to be calling the admissions because you may not even get through, depending on the size of the school, for weeks, and they'll only tell you probably that just wait another week. So you can check at your leisure when it's convenient anytime. You don't have to worry about it during the day. You just can check in and go, what's the academic status? What's required? Did they get the mid-year report yet? Are the letters of recommendations all there? Is everything there? So you can find that. Also is the financial aid part. There's a section where you will see what has been received, what requirements have been satisfied, and what still remains open. And not everything is a panic. I mean, if it says tax returns and it's January 20th, don't worry about it. Not everything is going to be needed to be done right then. And they may not even have that your FAFSA was filed if you went in there a couple days after it was filed. It takes a while. Schools download that information from the College Board and the Department of Education at different times. So as long as we meet all the deadlines and you can see everything's been done, we can tell you what's been done, you're going to be just fine. But I really strongly suggest that as those application receipts come in, to write down the web portal, net IDs, and the passwords. That way you're going to have a lot more control. We can't really handle that because some people apply to 16 schools or more, and for us to keep track of that, that's just beyond, we just don't have the manpower to be able to do that. So that's something that we need you to do. And when the awards come in, we'll tell you what happens with there. At the end of February, we're going to go online with you, and generally I just send out a PDF. Maybe we'll do a WebEx or webinar thing where I just want to explain to you how to use, retrieve your financial aid award letters, how to get them to us, and you have a number of options. One is just put them on the website. Two is fax them to us. You know, print the you know, the image and send it in an email that way, or, you know, any number of ways you can get them to us. It doesn't matter. We're going to enter them one way or another, because eventually we will be, once all the awards are in, then we're going to evaluate them for fairness. And if they're great awards, we're going to tell you so. If we think they're not great, we're going to tell you they're not great and what we can do about it, if anything. And if you don't understand why a particular award is what it is, we can explain it to you. We've tried to make it very easy to understand, as we'll get to another slide that really shows that. It doesn't have to be complicated. A lot of people make it complicated. It's not complicated, so we're just going to present it that way. So you will be invited to an award letter teleconference, and you'll get everything you need to know about that. Yeah, you're going to get emails from the Department of Ed, and I can't tell you how many you're going to get this year, because every year they keep adding more. But I can guarantee you there's going to be emails coming from the Department of Ed that you will not know what they're about, because you know the schools have been filed, you know you've gotten your SARs, and you're going to get that your FAFSA has been corrected. And you're going to call us, what did you do? Well, we have done nothing, okay? We have done nothing. What happened is that, and we're fighting with the Department of Ed, me and others like me, are fighting with the Department of Ed to actually let you know which school, which college on your list went in there and made a correction. So the schools go in there behind your back and fool around inside your FAFSA. And therefore, they can see, well, they can see every college anyway that your students apply to, which is a whole other issue. But you're not going to know unless you call the Department of Ed and ask which college did that. Now, usually it's not a problem because they don't necessarily change that much in there, but it is kind of freaky to get, you know, some looks like a security breach or something. So understand that the colleges go in there, and if you really want to know who it was, don't call us, because we won't know. Call the Department of Ed and say, there was a correction on my FAFSA, which school went in there? Okay. Award letters will continue to come in. You'll get a few in the mail, but most of them through the web. You need to check those, because we want to be able to get all the awards evaluated sooner than later, so that if something needs to be done via leveraging, or God forbid an appeal needs to be made, you know, we need the time to do it properly. We need to find out, you know, we don't know every school's policy. They change from time to time. So we have to find out how they want to deal with this. If you want to make an appeal, is it a special form? Do you just show up? You know, what's the proper procedure? Or is it just a letter? That kind of thing. Or is it, or in you know, with regard to leveraging, is it just a fax? You know, phone call and a fax, which is the best, actually. And then we will have, because part of just about every financial aid award is a student loan, you're going to see a either it's called a direct subsidized or direct unsubsidized direct loan, or it's going to say a Stafford unsubsidized or subsidized Stafford loan. It's the same loan, and for the first year, the two will total $5,500. And it depends on your expected family contribution that the government says that's, you know, the minimum amount you can afford. Based on that number, you'll get some of it subsidized, some of it unsubsidized, or none of it subsidized. It just depends. But we're going to go over the different kinds of loans. There's also the Perkins loan. There's parent loans. And there's the good, bad, and the ugly is what we're going to cover in that.
Now,
this is
yeah, go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah. I was going to say, we're back to the college information page, and as the awards come in, you'll see that on the lower left of each college preference is a button that says Edit, and that's where every component is listed. It'll add it up for you, and you just simply put it in there, and when you're done, there's a button a little further up. You could probably see it on a slide back. Doesn't matter. It'll say there's a button that says Evaluate My Awards, and that way I know that all the awards are in there. It's a good idea, by the way, if you get a straight-out rejection, remove the college. Get rid of it. If your son or daughter didn't get into Harvard, just get rid of it. It's no great shame. I hope not, anyway. Oh yeah, here it is. This is the award entry, and you can see in the upper right, we will give you the cost, the latest costs we have. Generally, the costs for the following year aren't posted until the time you get your bill, so you really don't know how much it's going to cost until middle of July. But this gives you the costs and tuition and fees, and all we need to see to override the cost of attendance number in the upper right where it says estimated costs is where in the left above the school scholarships field it says cost of attended quoted on the letter. So if we have that, then we can actually know, and then we'll update our system from that. We get advanced numbers from that if the number's different. Sometimes the schools will not include certain costs that are in what are known as indirect costs. For example, personal expenses, travel. They may not even include books. Sometimes they don't even include any of that. Most do, but some don't. So if they were shorted you on, let's say they said, well, they'll give you $1,000 for personal expenses. Well, $1,000 is nothing to a kid in college. I got news. So we'll bump it to a minimum. We'll just throw 500 on it because that's true. And we can always argue the point that that particular college is just being, sort of, what do you call it, when they're lowballing you. So this is where that will go. You'll save it, and you can actually see what your real out-of-pocket cost is going to be just by subtracting it from the, because some of these offers will show you a Parent Plus loan, which is not listed on this because that has nothing to do with financial aid to you, to your student. That's a loan. I don't care where it comes from. It's a loan. It's a loan. It's a loan to you. And that number out of pocket could be zero if you included a plus loan in there, which is not true in terms of what your real out of pocket is going to be. So we just want you to know that. And we'll be, having this conversation in the teleconference as well. When you're done with all the awards and you click that little button, oh, Beth, I didn't know you had this. You'll click Continue, and we will get a note electronically that says, Charlie Middlehouse just, got all his awards. He's done. He's ready for admission, ready for evaluation, and you'll have your award evaluation. It'll be done by the next day. We're so good. We're so fast. It'll just take a few minutes. Once we get the award, if we're not doing anything at that moment, we'll just knock it out, and it'll be ready for review with your advisor, with Beth. Yep. More and more schools will, especially the more competitive schools, you'll have to wait until the very end of March or the first week of April to see the financial aid award. And they'll be, of course, transferred, as you saw before. We will do that award comparison report, and you'll have your meeting. And then, as I said, depending on when you're all done, you'll know what needs to be done. If they're, like I said, if they're all wonderful, great. This is a sample page of the award. I think I know who this was last year. This student was not living in Oregon, and if you just look at the left column, you'll just see the cost and the EFC, the expected family contribution. What's left over is a financial need. We don't use a negative number. The amount of the school scholarship, whatever loans and work study was made available to the student, their total aid, and basically what we do is we take the scholarships and any school grants We divide that into the tuition and fees number to give you that tuition discount. Now, the big question on everybody's mind is that a good enough discount? Well, that's what we'll tell you. And then at the end of those pages, it's all summarized, and you can see your out-of-pocket with each school, what you're out-of-pocket for each one. And, you know, not all schools are created equal, so you need to know which one's really the best value for your money. So you get to see with loans and without loans. Come May 1st, it's National Decision Day, and this is the day you will have your checks postmarked. This is the day when now it's time for the colleges to sweat, because they're concerned if they're going to meet their class and if they've done their job well. And there's a lot of jobs riding on this. If you say yes, you've got a good award, it's affordable, everything's hunky-dory, you send in your check. That's pretty much it. And then, you get the flood of dorm forms and all this other stuff. And that's when you'll fill out the student loan forms and all that, and we'll go over that during this teleconferences. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I hope I haven't made it too complicated. It is a lot. But rest assured, I've been doing this personally since 1996, and I've never lost anybody yet. And I don't think there's been very many people who weren't able to send their child to the college they really wanted to go to.
Well, why don't we, Stuart, just open it up for a few questions if people want to ask. I know this is a lot of information. Again, we're taking a process that has a lot of moving parts and trying to at least make you aware of what you can expect. We think that this timeline does a good job of helping you understand what's going on when and what you need to be paying attention to, because we're clearly paying a lot of attention to it. But let me just open it up to some questions if we've got anybody that, after hearing all of this and listening to all this might have some things bubbled up in your mind that you want to ask.
Beth?
Yes.
Beth? Yeah. It's Charles Middlehouse. I just walked in here at the end of this, and I'm just looking at your timeline and everything. And what happens if you do early admission and you submit everything early? Is there no FAFSA award letter prior to the middle of February, it looks like?
Stuart, do you want to tackle that?
Sure. There's no FAFSA that can be filed prior to January 1st. So if the school uses the CSS profile, they're going to use that. The school may ask also for your tax return, your 2013 tax return as well. So they'd be able to give you what's known as an early read.
So they're going to know what you more than likely will be awarded, I guess. That's the question.
Yeah, it'll be an early version award, which will be finalized with your 2014 taxes, which is why we like to have as close as estimates as possible. So that way it's not altered very much.
And any other questions? Well, just in case something comes up as you're thinking about this, I wanted to make sure that, and I'm sure all of you already have all of our email addresses and our phone numbers, but I wanted to put them here again as a reminder. So anything that, comes up in the next several days or throughout this process, we want to be accessible. We want to relieve your stress. We do understand that there are a lot of moving parts and that we're dealing with teenagers and that there's just a lot going on. Kim Kirshner on our team will be in touch with you about probably a WebEx between me and you as the parents during the month of November and early December, where we're going to make sure that you understand exactly what needs to be provided on Stewart's website. A lot of that has already been done for you. There's a lot of preliminary data that's already been pre-populated, but there's some up-to-date information that we just don't have, and we're going to have to, provide so that Stewart can do his job on your behalf. So just know that Kim will be reaching out to do that, but we really wanted you to understand, kind of how this is going to unfold, give you a preview of coming attractions, and let you know that we're here to be of assistance to you throughout the entire process. If we could do some of the things regarding the award letters, we would, but the schools have moved all of that, to the college web portals, and that's tied to user IDs and passwords that are going to be sent to you, the family. And as I've thought through this, I think what I would do in my house, my son's only 12, so I'm not doing it yet. I would set aside a time every week when I would sit down with my student. It'd be the half an hour we're going to spend on college that week in the March and April timeframe, when I'm going in and, trying to retrieve whatever information those schools are posting to the websites. Because that's how they're going to do it. They're going to ask you to go to their website, that university website, and go get that information. It's not going to show up in your mailbox like it did 5 years ago.
Beth, can I just throw something in here, which
please.
I'm surprised I didn't say it. The communication between the school and the family primarily goes to the student. So their emails are the ones that need to be monitored regarding a lot of the requirements, notifications you're going to get, not from us, but from the schools. They'll go right to the admission app, pull it from there. Sometimes they'll go to you as well, but generally that's the federal government's coming to you, not the schools themselves. And there's things that they could ask for that we're going to be unaware of, just because there's no way for us to know because you're being singled out. So you need to be very careful with, with your child in terms of letting them know there's going to be stuff, you can't ignore it. This is a big deal. Watch your email very carefully. It's unfair, actually, that they do that, but
well,
that's what a lot of them do.
It's the transition that they're making, that they're going to deal just with the student, and they're going to let the parents pay for it, but they want to, from a communication perspective, deal with the student. So this is the point in time when we really got to have the kids tuned in and paying attention to email. That's why I would make that a family session. We're not saying, hey, go look at your email. We're saying, hey, why don't the two of us sit down and go through your email and look at what we need to do for these different schools. All right,
yeah, it's pretty critical. It's pretty critical, yeah.
Last round of questions. Any more questions that we can answer tonight? All right, with that, I'm going to thank you for attending. We really appreciate it. We will be in touch, and like we said, this is the mad dash to the finish, and we're really looking forward to walking you through it. So thanks again, and we'll be in touch.